Good morning, everybody. It's Wednesday. We've made it halfway, so I think we pretty much got it licked by now, don't you think? Um, I know on Monday I pulled a little trick on you with the greed thing with the milk, and but today I really do want to talk to you about something serious, and it's very important to me, and it's been a big part of this Thrive experience that I'm having, and it's the relationship between my husband and myself. Before I started taking Thrive, and it's y'all probably gonna look at me a whole lot different the next time you see me when I tell you these things, but I'm willing to put it out there, be transparent with you because I want you to know that this can work for you too. It can fix a problem you didn't even know was a problem, or nothing that. Anyway, let me try to tell you this. Before Thrive, I was not a nice person to live with. I mean, I think I was nice to everybody but my husband. He couldn't do anything right. I was constantly criticizing him. I mean, this has been going on we've only been married not quite 4 years, and it's probably been going on 3 of those 4 years. And anything he did, if he was to say today was Wednesday, I would tell him, well, I guess it's Wednesday, but technically we're almost to Thursday, or I don't know, just something stupid. It made no sense, the things that I would pick at him about, just pick. And it didn't matter what he did, what he said, I would growl at him. I was blaming everything on him. Anything that went wrong was his fault. Anything that got done or didn't get done was his fault. And I could twist it around to a point that I could make anybody believe it was his fault. I was constantly, in fact, I know my closest friends can tell you, and probably some that are not so close, because I was just that bad, that I never had a kind word to say about my husband. I didn't. Catherine Elliott, Sharonda, Barksdale, asked them. I mean, they dealt with me and dealt with me and dealt with me on it, and a lot of prayer. I know they did because they both loved my husband so much. No, but anyway, like I said, I always blamed everything on him, and of course, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. How could it possibly be me? I was doing everything right. I was cooking, I was cleaning, I was doing everything, and he was doing, what men do. But anyway, when I got on the Thrive works from the inside out. It gets your guts right. It gets your metabolism's that right, and it just lines everything up. It levels you out to a point that everything is working the way it's supposed to, because it is a complete nutrition system, and it works on your attitude, your mood, and one day when I really realized that it was making this kind of difference in my life and in my marriage, Billy and I had stopped after church at the Shell station to eat because we love eating there on Sunday afternoons. They've just got good food, they really do. But anyway, we had stopped there, and I don't even remember what the this thing what it was, but he raised his voice to me inside the store, and I looked at him. I said, "Don't do that. People can hear you." And we drive separately, so I got up immediately and went, got in the car, and came home. Well, of course, it wasn't but a minute that he was behind me, and if you know you don't know my husband, not in a private setting, and nobody knows anybody in their private setting, except, but he's very quiet. He won't argue. He's one of those people that won't argue. He just shuts up. He just shuts down. That's just what he does. But when we got home, we were changing clothes, getting ready. I was sullen, being just, not saying anything. We weren't talking at all. He changes his clothes and he gets ready to leave. And I go to the door, and I'm up through. Of course, we're not through until we get the last word. We're not through. So, women, that is, we women. Sorry, it's a fact. But he stopped at the door, and I went to the door, and I threw the door open, and I looked at him, and I said, "By the way," just like that. And I stood there for a minute, and he looked at me, and I looked at him, and we both busted out laughing. And it was just, wasn't that important. I hugged him, and he hugged me, and I said, "Please don't do that again. It embarrasses me." And it just wasn't important anymore. And we have not, this was probably, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks ago. And I'm sorry, y'all. I mean, it's just really that good. But are that important to me. But we haven't argued since then. We hadn't sold up and stood in the corner and had whatever standoff that is since then. And it was the thrive. That was important to me. And I know, Catherine, Sharonda, I know you're sitting back looking at this saying, "I told you so." I have got one of the most awesomest husbands in the world. He thinks I hung the moon. He thinks I'm beautiful. He thinks I'm perfect, just like I am. And, he's probably right. But that's. But I want to tell you, lighten up on the men. It could be just, and I'm sure this could work equally as well for the men. This was like, I don't know, a few days after, a few days, it was like he started the day before on his thrive. So I really don't think it had anything to do with Billy. I think it was all me. So I look back, and it makes me really kind of sad to think that these past 3 years of the things that we could have been enjoying together, I was sabotaging. We were doing things, and we were coming home, and I was like, "Well, I wish we hadn't done that. I could have stayed here and done this or something better." But anyway, I wanted to share that with you, and that is from my heart. And Thrive works. And that was probably the hardest thing for me to tell y'all this, but I'm glad it's over. God forgives. Y'all forgive me. And I'm going to ask my husband to forgive me too. Now, tomorrow is our Thrive Roundtable at the Heritage Apostolic. I'm at Heritage Christian Academy, 6 o'clock. I am not a speaker, and so I am dependent on you to ask questions. So be there no later than 6. I'll probably be there at 5:30. Be there no later than 6, and we'll sit around, we'll talk, we'll discuss Thrive. I'll try to answer any questions that you have, and y'all have an awesome day. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.